Welcome to the Detty Diaries. I think it's another segment from Enter where we are going to kind of talk about the class that we're playing halfway through, I guess, its career before we've completed the PQ. How we're feeling, what cards we picked, what items we're running, and whether or not we're running into any difficulties that may or may not receive help from you guys in the community. And today's one is on my Pyro class, which is currently what I'm playing in our campaign. So I have reached level 6 with the Meteor as of the last campaign we just completed this week. And I have to choose my level 6 card. And I figured this was a good time to actually get a little bit of maybe help, guidance, and share kind of what I have done with this class. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, card selection. At level 2, I took Deep Fury. So Deep Fury just, if you look at our unboxing, Gaz and I were talking a little bit about the damage potential with the Quenched Rage, which is something I wanted to build around. And Deep Fury kind of made it stupid because who doesn't want to double an attack on something that has 8 health? That's really going to help the party with clearing the scenario. Great for bosses, I assume. I have yet to do a boss on the Meteor, I think. Deep Fury's top, requiring an enemy occupying a hazardous terrain. A lot of the attacks are like this, which means I need to find ways to generate them. And that's something that I have struggled with a little bit because I have stopped using Igneous Path. I'm struggling to get effective use out of the top of Flowing Fire. And I think Lava Bomb is one of the few ways I've been getting it off and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Deep Fury has kind of been a bit of a miss for me at the moment. It's not been territory, but it's fine. The other choice that I had was Searing Smoke, right? Searing Smoke. And I was talking to someone actually about their Meteor, and we were comparing notes about what cards we picked, and they picked Searing Smoke. And it actually looks pretty cool. I can see now that I've played multiple scenarios with the Meteor, how Searing Smoke could be really useful for what I'm trying to do in getting multiple attacks off to help proc the Quenching Rage token on the Persistent over so that I can get straight to that double attack and then insta-shot something, one-shot something. What I didn't really look at was the bottom. Now, the bottom of Searing Smoke actually has a 4-move jump. All enemies you move through muddle. Jump has been one of my biggest weaknesses in all the scenarios we've been playing so far because A, I didn't pick jump boots, and B, I haven't enhanced any of my movement with a jump. So in situations where I really need to get over enemies or reposition myself, not having the jump has been really frustrating. So yeah, look, I still stand by my choice, but I'm waiting to see it really pay off. Searing Smoke looked to have more options. I feel like there's more things I can do with it. I got to level 3, and in our unboxing again, because we went up to level 3, about what we were willing to look at, I guess, was Hardened Spike. And I like a flat 5 damage. It's a nice easy one to decide to double, +6 if the target is also occupying hazardous terrain. It's an XP generator that way as well, which is handy. It creates earth, which we like. The 3 damage that you might suffer from the mandatory persistent effects, it's been a little bit annoying, but the higher level I get, the less it's really impacting me, especially if I can aim it towards the end part of my rest cycle. So Hardened Spike was good. The bottom is amazing. The bottom, provided I have set up obstacles beforehand, or there happens to be obstacles on the actual scenario. I tend not to waste a lot of time making obstacles, so might be a little drawback there. But to add another attack, what is it? +3 to your top of your next attack is pretty nuts. I've managed to get that off twice for really good effect, but a couple of the more recent scenarios have lacked obstacles and I can't be bothered making them. The alternative being Living Magma. This was also a card that was selected by the person I was talking to. Yeah, it was. And it looks fine. I just don't think it's going to be something that I really care about. No, I don't think it's that. Level 4 is where things got really interesting. So level 4, I had to choose between Hand of Flame and Heat Wave. And I actually opted for Heat Wave. And this is something I didn't really look or care too much about the top action. I can see a world where if I was planning around it, it would be very useful. It was the bottom action and the initiative that really caught my eye. Having an 8 initiative was like, amazing. I really, really wanted that. And then having a move 2, this is where reading is really important. Consume fire, and then create a 1 hex obstacle and an adjacent empty hex. I had read that the whole time as consume fire to create a hazardous terrain tile, which I was like, amazing. Move 2, pop a hazardous terrain underneath them, and then hit them with melted armor, or hit them with hardened spike, or something like that. It is not, it is an obstacle. So because I have misread that, I'm really only using it for its initiative, which means that I wanted to mulligan my choice because I messed it up. So we decided to go with Hand of Flame instead, which gave me the 29, which is still kind of okay. It's an attack 4 with muddle, and I get to create hazardous terrain on whatever I hit so that I can utilize it to follow up, which was actually pretty good. It's also a very, very consistent XP generator. So let's go with that. The bottom of it is an attack 2 wound. It's fine. I haven't seen too many situations where I have used that, but yeah, I can see a world where maybe against living spirits and all the other high shielded things that I've come across, lining up a double attack with the bottom and the top of Hand of Flame is pretty good. So we've gone with Hand of Flame. Level 5 is where things got really juicy because level 5 is usually a nice little power spike of some bonkers card that gets added to your repertoire, which can now define your build. And I had Magma Orbs and Rain of Fire. And I looked at Rain of Fire and I was like, create 2 hazardous terrain on the board. And I was like, that's pretty good if I cared. If I cared about creating hazardous terrain, which I don't. I want to go all in on more damage options. And here's the other thing, actually. Our group is very frontline heavy. Like, we are so frontline heavy that getting front real estate space, especially in tighter scenarios, especially with corridors, where there's very few spaces to situate, my initiatives aren't that fast compared to my groups. So I find a lot of the times I'm not in position to do what I want to do. I needed more ranged attacks. And this is where Magma Orbs came in because it's an attack 3, targeting 2. I can target 3 if I get both elemental infusions off. I can add another target. So that's hitting 3 things, which is actually really good for Quenched Rage. It's really good for, I think, the bottom of Rain of Fire. Is that the one? Melted Armor. Sorry, Melted Armor. It's really good for Melted Armor. It's proven to be really handy. Also, I've got a Power Potion, which is busted. I'm pretty sure Dwarf says it's busted, and I can sort of see that. It's really, really great for bumping all of those attacks up. And then, yeah, there's probably other items that you can use to make this even more dumb. But Magma Orbs so far has been something I've really enjoyed. Now, the bottom of Magma Orbs is something that I completely overlooked until I was in a scenario recently where the top of Magma Orbs was actually not really going to do anything because of the high shield of all the enemies we were fighting. And I looked at the bottom of it, and it said create 1 hex hazardous terrain tile and an adjacent empty hex. And I've gone, oh, that's amazing. And then within range 2, pull it 1 straight into it, which sets it up perfectly for hardened spike or melted armor or whatever you're planning on using to set that up. So that's actually been really clutch. Magma Orbs has actually been amazing, and the initiative's not too bad if I want to go late, which I'm a bit funny about going really late. I know why it's good to go late, but in our group, everyone is so damage hungry that a lot of the times you set up this big swing turn to do something very effective and everything's dead, or yeah, just way less of a big swing turn. So Rain of Fire, though, just like the level 2 card that I skipped over, Searing Smoke, is a move 5 jump instead of a move 4 jump. That is the second jump card that I could have selected. So yeah, that's for someone who's complained so much about a lack of jump. I've literally bypassed 2 of them. So I can only blame myself. I don't have jump boots. I have the +1 movement boots because I was planning on using that for positioning and also for Igneous Path, which I'm not using anymore. So there's an opening there for me to swap to jump boots, actually. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I probably should before it really messes me up. Okay, let's talk about level 6. So right now I have a choice. I haven't selected one yet. I'm aiming towards more one than the other. And our options are Obsidian Shield, which looks like a good tanking option to add a little bit of damage mitigation. There's a little extra burst, pure burst at the end of when it procs, and you get to create a obstacle once it's also finished, and a 19 initiative, which is all right. The bottom is suffer 2 damage, negate the damage you suffer this round. Yeah, it's another tanking option with a move 3, Earth Infuse. Like, it's fine. I think if we weren't so tanky and so frontline heavy with the classes we're currently running with, it would be better. But yeah, I was a bit cold on that one. Return to the Source is kind of immediately what I wanted because it's an attack 3, range 4, pull 3. Another ranged attack. And I think with our group, more ranged attacks will probably be better for me. The 14 initiative is amazing. There's a fire generation on there. So yeah, I'm looking more towards Return to the Source. I'm happy to hear whether or not there may be a world where I should go back and select one of the earlier cards. Actually, that's an option I hadn't considered. Whether or not I actually want Rain of Fire for the 5 jump. Do I need it? Do I want Searing Smoke? Because it actually looks pretty decent. Or the other Hazardous Terrain one, the other level 5 one, Rain of Fire or something. But and the bottom of it is actually really useful because it's a run through hazardous terrain, or I think it's your own. Ignore hazardous terrain during this movement. Oh, you get to ignore it. Okay. So you can use it on any hazardous terrain, which is really cool. And you get to heal yourself for all the hazardous terrain you go through. So that's really handy because a lot of my healing right now with cooling, with healing potion, and another item I just collected are very big heals. They're if I want to remove a poison or a wound or something like that, I don't want to have to spend one of those to do it. So having a Return to the Source, look, I'm thinking of locking in Return to the Source, but we may need a little bit of help with that. I'll let you guys know what items we're running. So 1-for-1, chest piece, studded leather, tappable, easygoing, no negatives. It's great for getting that disadvantage on that first attack, which is great. It gives you a little bit of shield, and yeah, it comes back every long rest. So it's been a staple so far. If there's an item you think I should get, please let me know. If there's something you think will work, I'm happy to sort of alter things at the moment. But I'm pretty set on like fairly basic items, but I probably need to expand my mind to a couple of the other ones. Item 005 already mentioned, Crude Boots. So this is the one that's going to assist with just adding that extra move. That's probably the first one I can probably quite safely replace with something else and quite comfortably. Jump Boots would be potentially good. I should probably look into seeing whether or not Crude Boots, I think they do evolve into other types of boots that would continue the one move but offer something else. So maybe I should look into that. Let's see. We've got our 3. Oh, we'll go with Circlet. So 1-2-1. We've got Circlet of Elements. Circlet of Elements is really useful for getting the elements I need. Now, the party we have, there's actually a fair bit of element generation to give me the things that I need, and vice versa for them. We've got a fair bit of elemental synergy. So this ends up actually becoming a little bit more of a monster denier. If we know that monsters are going to consume an element that we have put up, or that is currently up, we're using it to deny them. So that's proven to be really handy for that reason. Again, if there's a better headpiece, we could look into replacing that one there. Heavy Sword. Heavy Sword's my one-hander. So during your melee attack ability, add +1 to 1 attack. So this is good for quenched rage attacks when I would like to double damage and hit just a little bit harder. It's very basic, very simple. Probably could look at another one-hander, but right now it's serving its purpose. The other one-hander is 222, which was the black box. We just got this most recently from a treasure tile. And it's basically a burst heal that I was mentioning earlier. It's another option where during your turn you can discard 2 cards to actually heal yourself for 6. And it's a one-hander and it's tappable. So another reason why it's going to be, I guess, harder for me to exhaust from taking too much damage, as I'm now starting to unlock a lot more healing options. 099 major healing potion to heal 6. Big, nice and easy. We've got 101, which is our major power potion. Major power potion is during your turn add +2 to all of your attacks. So the more attacks you're doing, the more disgusting that gets, which is why it works really well with magma orbs, especially if I can target that third person. Pretty busted. I'm pretty sure Dwarf loves it. Now, this is probably my favorite item in the whole game. 244, which is the Ember Energy Source. I had this on my Snowflake. I loved it. It was very, very useful. Didn't play with it on the Shackles. I'm pretty sure it had been sitting in the shop. No one else picked this up. And I dare say it's just probably the most flexible item in the game. The fact that you can increase the printed number of your attack, your movement, which I've done. I've used it for the move in a absolute clutch situation where I needed that one move. Increasing the target number or your range number by 1. There has never not been a scenario where this has become useful in some way. And lately, it's not even for the damage. It's for the extra range or the movement, like I mentioned. So that's usually what I will unload in a Quench Rage turn as well. Finally, an item that I have bought but I have yet to use due to level restrictions and bag restrictions is the Lucky Dice. Wait, Cloak of Many Pockets would allow me to use this now. I'm going to work out where we get that, because I'm pretty sure we got the upgraded version of that, but that could be better than the disadvantage now that I've got all this healing. Lucky Dice, so is 242. During your attack ability, treat the next 3 attack modifier cards you draw as rolling, which is pretty nuts. There's another card which we have discovered pairs incredibly well with this. We have found it kind of broken. We have split them. I think it'll be something we will cover in a future maybe topic of conversation on the actual pod itself, or maybe it'll warrant its own episode. But I've yet to bring it. I know what it does. I'm excited to try it. It feels like a really fun, high risk, high reward thing, especially if you pull that null or a curse or something like that. So that's kind of the items we're rocking right now, and I haven't really done a great deal to change a lot of that. Finally, I will look at some of the perks and masteries that we've actually got. So I'm level 6 at the moment. Perk-wise, I've completed, you've got the 6 sets up the top right-hand corner. I've completed 3 sets, and I'm 1 tick into my 4th. So we definitely took the first one, removed 2 ones. We did remove 1, 2. We did that. We've only got 1 tick currently, and it must be something that I'm in the middle of doing, replacing the +0 card with a +1 wound. So I've got 1 of those at the moment. The 2 tick replace -1 cards with a create hazard tile is one that I've gotten and wasn't seeing much lately. Sorry, I wasn't seeing much at the start when I picked it, but now I'm starting to see that a lot, which is really handy for just getting the extra hazardous terrain on the board. Replacing the 2 +0s with push rolling modifiers, that I'm seeing a lot of. They haven't been overly good because I don't really want to push things further away. I think I'm pretty certain our whole group wants to keep everything quite nice and tight. So yeah, maybe it was a mistake, but I was replacing the +0s for them rolling. So that's ultimately why I was doing it. Replace the 2 +1 cards with 2 +2s. I haven't done yet. That will probably be coming up. I really want to do that, but I'm trying to thin my deck as much as possible first by replacing those zeros and getting those rollings in. Adding 2 +1 fire and earth infusers. I still haven't selected either of those. Adding 2 +1 muddle rolling modifiers I've recently added. Haven't seen them yet actually, because I think I picked that during this level up process. And then the main ones, ignoring scenario effects. I haven't done it yet, and I think I'm too far in now. I'm level 6, probably got another 7 or 8 scenarios in me based on my PQ maybe, and I'm wondering whether or not it's too late and that perk can be better used elsewhere. I'm almost certain it is, just due to how frequently or infrequently those scenario effects do come into play. I don't think I'm going to pick it. It's going to ruin me if I don't, though. But we'll just go with it. And then the two rest ones. The two rest ones, I have not selected either of them. The only one I would be tempted to might be the long rest one with getting the ward. I don't know how much I care about the short rest perk. Just don't think I care. And then finally, the three perker, which I think is a little expensive. And it makes sense if you're going a very heavy hazardous terrain and utilizing a lot of the push-pull mechanics to do a lot of that pure damage to things, because then the board is covered in your hazardous terrain, which impacts your team. I feel like this is one that I could have opted not to take, because I'm looking at the board and seeing how often my teammates are going over it, and it's not actually that often. But then there are times that I have cards that need me to be in it, and then it's extra damage that I wouldn't necessarily take. I don't know. I'm weird about it. It shouldn't take 3 perks, but is 2 too little for that ability? Because 3 for, I think Coral has a 3 perker. I can't remember too many of the others. I don't think I had one on the Shackles. I think it's a 2. But yeah, they just feel like they should either be a little bit bonkers, but how bonkers can they be without messing it up? So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still really enjoying what the class is bringing. I think that I would like to see a boss scenario with it, just to see how quickly I can unload on the boss. But then I've explained that that may not be fun for everyone else, especially when we're being highly critical on boss scenarios in our pod, with the exception of a couple of recent ones. So yeah, there's that. I think when we start doing some of the side scenarios with potential kill-alls and all that, it could be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's not as exciting on some of the escape ones, but maybe I'm struggling to see classes that do find escape scenarios exciting. As much as I like the idea of escape scenarios, every time I play them, it's just not giving it to me as much. Either way, I guess the next time you hear about the Meteor in depth will be the Meteor review, which I'm looking forward to recording. But yeah, it's a super fun class, and I am looking forward to seeing what other cards we get as we move forward, because our first Meteor player, I think, only got to 6. So the rest is going to be, a nice little surprise. Anyway, I will catch you all later. So the Pyro class at the moment, fuck off, ZEUS. You dumbass. Quiet. Yeah?